Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Luke Kerr, and 2A is pleased to bring you the Learning Playbook. Well, education was in need of transformation well before the pandemic. It was clearly vulnerable. Learners and schools have very different needs, different levels of funding, and work in different education ecosystems. The challenge? It's not one size fits all. Learners and teachers are seeking more personalised learning models that provide students with empowerment and learner agency. Our hypothesis that there is value to be gained from having a curated repository with resources available for learners and educators to undertake self-directed learning. And the idea that schools are on an innovation continuum. They want to navigate their own adventure that takes into consideration different constraints and opportunities. The platform provides a school with a playbook through programs that provide students and teachers with agency and connection to purpose.
Our story begins with Priya, a primary teacher in India who's eager to experiment with problem-based learning, but is struggling to find out how to incorporate it in the required national curriculum. We now fly over to Chile, where Sofia, a principal of a renowned school, understands the need for her school to have microschool, but she feels uncertain on how to develop this. Down in New Zealand, we find Rich, a homeschooling dad who's trying to find project ideas to engage his kids in applied maths. Over in Hungary, we have Barna, a student who doesn't like how his teacher delivers his mindfulness session and wants to propose a different approach. And lastly, we land in Kenya, where Stella is looking for a mentor who can guide her in running a game-based lesson in her classroom. All these people want to bring innovation into their education scenario, and they know the solutions exist, but they're all having different struggles when finding the right tools, resources, and networks to make this happen. Thankfully, they now have the Learning Playbook, an answer to all the problems.
Kickstarting an education revolution. The Learning Playbook gives the power back to the people to directly own and control their own learning destiny. There's never been a better time to start an education revolution. And the benefits: critical thinking, creativity, mindfulness, growth mindset, resilience, and entrepreneurship. Key features of the Learning Playbook include tailored learning pathways based on goals with success indicators and milestones, community curated content, a gamified platform, global scope with country-specific content that's accessible, affordable, and inclusive. And what difference will it make? A one-stop shop for the best practice and learner models that can be applied in multiple settings, providing clarity, guidance, and time savings. The platform is going to be a peer-to-peer learning partnership, community owned by a global cohort. And the business model, it's free to discover methods and tools, a global partnership-based approach, and a paid component such as consultancy for large-scale implementation is planned for the future. Are you game? Add your learning method today. Thank you. We've created a appendix which just provides a little detail on the different user scenario cases for the Learning Playbook. And in closing, we just wanted to say how rewarding it has been to participate in this hackathon. The team that include Mauricio from Bali, Catalina from Berlin, Roland from Vienna, and Rasika, Janine, and myself from Melbourne. Thank you to Learn Life and supporters of Learn Life, and particularly Innova partners, for their hosting and support of this hackathon. Very quickly, we were able to navigate the different time zones. For us in the Southern Hemisphere, we were able to meet in the evening, whilst Roland and Catalina in their mornings. Special mentions to Mauricio for his explainer video, Catalina for her work on the prototype and video, Roland for encouraging us to use project management tools like Trello, Razika and Janine for sharpening the message and working on the PowerPoint. And the Miro was an excellent tool for us to get us all brainstorming and sharing ideas early and also throughout the hackathon. Building this Learning Playbook has been such a great experience and a model we will no doubt continue to work on. Such an inspiration to see how the learning communities can think more expansively about providing students with more learner agency and empowerment. And we might finish with a few words from our team.
Hi, welcome to our team, the Learning Playback. Here's our Miro board, which we worked on in extensively detail. As you can see, we started with a challenge and we included some post-it notes, and then we could refine those. We looked at our topic as well as the background information to our challenge. We added our team details, as well as when we explored, we used our empathy map, and we also did some dark research, but we actually found that we had more dark research, so we continued on and provided our insights from our conference. Going into our imagine phase, again, we wanted to make it slightly bigger. So we used this as an inspiration board with the different poster notes, which we'd taken from the smaller section, and we reuse them in this space. And our build phase, we started out with paper prototypes, but then we decided to move to a website and an electronic version based on Katarina from our team. We then shared it, and I'll expand this in a little bit more depth just so that you can see. And we really completed and we looked at the solution, what the prototype was aiming to do, the benefits, and of course the evaluation, and we looked at a user story. So we really wanted to give a sense of connection to our audience by telling a story.
So, little talk about the making of this project. Yeah, we started with Miro, the whiteboarding platform, as my son just at my side, and we were starting, yes, with Miro, with the platform, and it started to get really crowded, a lot of post-its on it, and then we just realized at the end of the project, for the last steps, we can't do it with Miro again, and we went over to Trello, task project management tool. That was really perfect to use at the end. So yeah, time zones, different platforms we used, and didn't really went out for a lot of time. It's lockdown in Austria at the moment, and now just between kids and work, just a short version of this.
Working through this hackathon has been a great experience. It's actually been quite intense, but I think there's a real human aspect to it where it's just fun and you get to meet new people, and I chose this background behind me just to contrast how different it is from Roland, who looks like he's in a really cold place, where I'm in a really hot place. So yeah, I think friendships have been made. And it was just a really nice and creative and fulfilling experience. So thank you to everybody.
2 a.m. in Berlin, finally finished the video for the prototype and handing it over to my colleagues that are still awake or just woke up. Loved the teamwork and my team.
Functioning on 4 hours of sleep, but I'm on the relearn high. Loved framing the problem, synthesizing the solution, and putting pen to paper to communicate our concept to you all. Thank you, Relearn, and thank you, amazing team. Love the ride.